What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Weekly GCap, the only source you'll ever need to catch up on all the gaming news from the last week. And as always, if there's only a few stories that you're interested in, feel free to use the chapters down in the description, or you should be able to see them there on the time bar. If you just kind of scroll through, they should show up there. First things first, Turmoil is free on Epic Games. This will be free until January 16th at 11 a.m. EST, so you might as well go redeem it because there's no better price than free. Next up, I got the January Xbox Game Pass games for you guys. Now, we had originally talked about this like a week or two ago, but I didn't realize that they were going to go ahead and announce more games. And there's also a few disparities about what tiers each of these are for, so let's go ahead and go through this. Road 96 will be available January 7th, which means it's available now. Lightyear Frontier, which is a game preview, is available now. My Time at Sandrock for console is available now. Robin Hood Sherwood Builders is available now, and Rolling Hills is also available now. Now, some of these games were already on Game Pass, however, these are just now available with Game Pass Standard. Now we move into some of the Ultimate games. So, EA Sports UFC 5 will be coming January 14th for Game Pass Ultimate members, and then Diablo, which is specifically for PC, will also be coming January 14th for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass members, and that only covers the first half of the month, so I'm assuming within the next week or two we should get another announcement for more games coming to the service for, to fill out the second half of January. And once we get that, I'll update you guys and let you know. Next up, the second beta for Monster Hunter Wilds was announced. This coming from Gamatsu, quote, Capcom will host a second open beta test for Monster Hunter Wilds from February 6th to February 9th, as well as from February 13th to February 16th, the company announced. The beta test will feature the content included in the first open beta test, as well as Gypseros, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, as a huntable monster. Users will also be able to carry over their character creation data from the first test. Users who take part in the test will receive special bonuses that can be redeemed in the full game, including a decorative charm for your weapon or secret and an item pack. Monster Hunter Wilds is due out for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam on February 28th. End quote. So there it is. If you wanted to go ahead and dive into the game for a second time, well, then you'll have two chances there actually, because February 6th to February 9th, as well as the 13th to the 16th. Next up, I just wanted to let you guys know that The Last of Us Season 2 is officially coming in April. We don't have an exact date, we just know that it's coming in April, and I'm just gonna say this, avoid spoilers at all costs if you haven't played the games, and if you're one of those people that only watched Season 1, but again, haven't played the games before and don't know what's about to happen. And for those of you that have played the games before, well, screw golf. It's a terrible sport. That's all I have to say. I'm kidding, I actually really love golf, but in the context of this show/game, yeah, no, screw golf. Next up, Helldivers 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn movies are in production. So both of these were announced during, Sony's CES presentation, and unfortunately we don't know a whole lot about these. The only difference between them is that Horizon Zero Dawn is being made in collaboration between PlayStation Studios and Columbia Pictures, whereas the Helldivers movie is a collaboration between Sony Productions and Sony Pictures. But besides that, there's no other details at this time, so as soon as we know more in terms of like release dates and when we can expect these movies and whenever we get trailers, I'll definitely let you guys know. Next up, the PlayStation Midnight Black Collection was announced. They put up a trailer in the description reads, quote, enjoy great play at home and on the go with our new range of sleek Midnight Black accessories available from February 20th, 2025. Pre-order the Midnight Black DualSense Edge wireless controller, PlayStation Portal Remote Player, Pulse Explorer wireless earbuds, and Pulse Elite wireless headset from January 16, 2025 at direct.playstation.com and other participating retailers. The prices are as follows. For the PlayStation Portal Remote Player in Midnight Black, that'll be $199.99 USD. For the Pulse Explorer wireless earbuds, it'll also be $199.99 USD. For the Pulse Elite wireless headset, that'll be $149.99 USD. And for the DualSense Edge wireless controller, that will be $199.99 USD. If you're wondering why there isn't a standard DualSense wireless controller, that's because that's actually already been out for a really long time, around the same time that they were putting out other colors for the controller. So if you just want like a basic DualSense controller, I mean, if you go to your local GameStop, Walmart, Best Buy, etc., you'll be able to find them there. But in terms of the other accessories like the PlayStation Portal or the DualSense Edge, for example, that didn't have Midnight Black versions before, well, now they'll be available, and they will be, about a week from the time that this video goes up, you'll be able to pre-order them, and again, they'll be available just to buy outright by February 20th of this year. Next up, a ton of handhelds were announced during CES, and there's a bunch of them that we're going to be talking about in this show, so we'll, kind of break them up, talk about each one individually, and go from there, try to do it in a timely fashion. So first up, the next installments in the Acer, I've never really known how to say this brand's name, but in the Acer Nitro Nitro Blaze Handhelds line was announced. So this coming from news.acer.com, quote, powered by AMD Ryzen 7 8840HS processors with Ryzen AI delivering up to 39 TOPS. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what TOPS means. I know that's just an AI thing, so I honestly don't know. The Nitro Blaze 8 and Nitro Blaze 11 handheld gaming devices meet high performance requirements to support smooth AAA gaming. They feature up to 144Hz touch displays, 8.8-inch or 10.95-inch with 500 nits brightness, combined with AMD Radeon 780M graphics, Radeon Super Resolution, and AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution tech for rapid graphical upscaling and stunning tear-free frames. With 16 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM and up to 2 terabytes PCIe Gen 4 NVMe storage, users can expect fast-paced action and minimal loading time on their handheld devices. The Nitro Blaze 11 also includes detachable controllers for solo and connected play, and a sturdy built-in stand, plus a front camera for video calls and streaming. Fast connectivity options supported on the Nitro Blaze devices includes USB 4 Type-C, USB 3.2 also Type-C, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.3. Additionally, users get 3 months of PC Game Pass. They also announced some accessories that will be coming out alongside these devices, including the Acer Nitro mobile gaming controller. The plug-and-play controller is compatible with Android and iOS devices, featuring an adjustable design that accommodates screens up to 8.3 inches. It connects to phones seamlessly via a USB Type-C port, and the included rubber pads provide secure grips holding devices of various sizes, even with cases, while ensuring a comfortable feel during gameplay. Gaming sessions are kept uninterrupted with pass-through 18-watt fast charging support to ensure extended and worry-free gameplay. Now, in terms of pricing, the Acer Nitro Blaze 8, the model number being GN782U for those interested, will be available in North America in Q2 of 2025, starting at $899 USD. The Acer Nitro Blaze 11, model number GN7112U, will be available in North America also in Q2 of 2025, starting at $1,099 USD. The Acer why do I keep getting that mixed up? The Acer Nitro mobile gaming controller will also be available in North America in the same time frame, starting at $69.99 USD. Nice. Exact specs, prices, and availability will vary by region. To learn more about availability, product specifications, and prices in specific markets, please contact your nearest Acer office via www.acer.com. End quotes. There you have it. That was a whole mouthful for a whole lot of handhelds and a whole lot of accessories, and there's a whole lot that we gotta talk about yet, so strap in. Next up, the Legion Go S was announced. Quote, the Legion Go S boasts AMD's exclusive Z2 Go processor and Zen 3 architecture, offering ultra-responsive ultra-responsive gameplay powered by 4 CPU cores and 8 threads. Enjoy 1200p gaming fueled by AMD Radeon graphics built on AMD RDNA 2 architecture. It transforms your game's visuals and cutting-edge technologies like Radeon Super Resolution, Fidelity FX Super Resolution, and AFMF. The device also includes 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, which also includes EA Play by proxy. In terms of the exact specifications, for the processor, we have the AMD Ryzen Z2 Go. For the operating system, it will be Windows 11 Home. In terms of graphics, integrated AMD Radeon graphics. Memory, we're looking at 32 gigs of 6400 MHz LPDDR5X RAM. Storage, 1 terabyte PCIe SSD. Battery, 3-cell 55.5 watt hours. And then for ports and slots, we have a headphone and mic combo, 2 USB 4s, which come with 40 gigabyte data transfer display port 1.4 plus power delivery 3.0, and a micro SD card reader. In terms of the wireless specs, we have Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3, and in terms of the display, it is an 8-inch 16:10 aspect ratio with a 120Hz variable refresh rate, 100% sRGB, 500 nits, and a 10-point touch screen. The device will be coming in at a light 1.61 pounds, and the only color available as of now is Glacier White, but that could be updated at any time. I didn't find exact pricing information here in this article, so I can only assume that they've yet to announce that. Okay, after doing some research, because for some reason it wasn't in the original thing that I found, okay, it seems like this device is going to be about $500, $499 USD, so, I'd say for what you get in there, that's actually a pretty good price. Next up, My Arcade Gamestation Retro was announced. This coming straight from the site, quote, My Arcade Gamestation Retro. Gamestation Retro is an officially licensed collection that brings together iconic games from legendary publishers, Bandai Namco, Capcom. The lineup includes 3 exciting products, Gamestation Retro Go, Retro Pro, and Retro Mega. The new lineup is scheduled for Q3 2025 availability. The Gamestation Retro Collection will deliver a unique retro gaming experience, seamlessly combining over 100 video games from these iconic brands into a single system. It will include famous titles such as Pac-Man, Galaga, Pole Station, Dig Dug, in addition to Street Fighter II, Mega Man, Final Fight, 1942, and many more. In terms of the exact systems, for the Gamestation Retro Go, we're looking at a premium portable handheld design for retro gaming on the go. Portable handheld retro video game system, 8-inch high-resolution display. Wow, they typed this out all funky, didn't they? And a rechargeable battery. In terms of the Retro Pro, we're looking at a premium retro gaming console, retro video game console, why does it say it twice? A 1080p HDMI output and 2 wireless rechargeable controllers. The Retro Mega is a tabletop arcade cabinet featuring classic wood construction and a vibrant large display, a 10.1-inch high-resolution display, classic wood construction, and mechanical joystick and action buttons. There was a lot of repeating in here. Accessories. The Gamestation Retro Gamepad is a wireless rechargeable controller compatible with the new Gamestation Retro Collection, and the Gamestation Retro Arcade Stick is a premium joystick for precision gameplay. Those two accessories I just mentioned will be available at the same time as the 3 devices we just talked about with the Retro Pro, Mega, and Go. Personally, I kind of wish there could have been a way to combine the Go and the Pro, kind of like a Switch, to maybe, you know, if there was like an HDMI slot on the Go or something like that, sort of like how Ambernic devices do. But regardless, if I was to get any of these, if there's a way to kind of, I don't know, maybe like dock the system, then I'd go with the Go. But if there's no way to do that and you'd be stuck only in the handheld form factor, then I think I'm personally, originally I was going to say Pro, but the more I'm thinking about it, I think I'm going to go with the Mega. Next up, the NVIDIA 50 series graphics cards were announced. We're not going to dwell on all the specs for too long. We're just going to go through the names and the prices because that's what you care about. Don't lie. So, just for anybody curious, there will also be laptops released around the same time as the graphics cards. But anyways, here we go. The 5070 will be $549 USD. The 5070 Ti, $749 USD. For the 5080, $999 USD. And for the 5090, hold on to your seats, folks, $1,999 USD. Jeez. Anyway, these will be available starting January. So, if you wanted to chop off your arm, leg, and maybe give up a kidney for that 5090, go for it. Next up, Transformers Reactive is no longer in development. This one genuinely made me want to shed a tear when I read it, man. So, this coming from Slash Damage on X. Quote, Studio update. Today we have some very difficult news to share. The decision has been made to end development of Transformers Reactive. This means we will be scaling down to refocus our efforts on other projects. Unfortunately, despite every effort, a number of roles across the studio are now potentially at risk of redundancy, aka layoffs. This decision did not come lightly, and it is a difficult time for the studio and our people. We want to take a moment to thank the team who worked on Transformers for their dedication and passion. Hasbro was an incredible and supportive partner throughout, and we hope to work with them again. To the many fans, your excitement and support helped keep us going. While not being able to see the game through to release is painful, having to say goodbye to friends and colleagues hurts even more. We're now focused on doing everything we can to support them through this tough period, just as we are committed to caring for those who will stay with us as we build a stronger Splash Damage for the future. Thank you for your compassion and understanding. Splash Damage. End quote. So this is really a shame. This game was debuted back in 2022 at the Game Awards. I remember covering it and talking about it on the show, actually, because I was just so excited to see what this game would look like, but here, not even a full... it's only been a little over 2 years, and unfortunately, the game has now been canceled. Which again is really a shame because there was a lot of promise there, like the dev team seems super cool, but this is just sort of where we're at in the game industry nowadays, games getting canceled has always been a thing, but man, it's just, it's been 2 years since it was showed off, and it seemed like they had a pretty good foundation, there's been some gameplay kind of leaking out and getting out there, and that looks pretty good. You guys know me, I don't like looking at leaks and stuff like that, but in a situation like this where it's sort of like lost media at this point, that's kind of where I'm like, alright, if the game isn't going to come out, and sure, I'll take a peek at the leak footage, and yeah, there was a lot of promise there. It genuinely looked great, but all we can do at this point is hope for the best for the dev team and hope that not too many people are affected by the layoffs. As they mentioned, that's kind of going to be inevitable with the game just getting outright canceled. Obviously, they got to kind of recoup some funds from, because they put all that money into making the game, and now they're never going to be able to make that money back because the game was canceled. So now all we can do is hope for the best for the devs and stay optimistic about their future, see what maybe they work on next. Just the fact that we're not going to get that new Transformers game, though, especially considering the fact that they already announced it and showed so much of it off, it's It stinks. Next up, this is a short but interesting story that I wanted to cover. So, Black Myth Wukong hasn't released on Xbox due to specifically development issues on the Xbox Series S. So, this coming from The Gamer. Quote, Yokar explains that he felt a little emotional after seeing the awards the game nabbed, and that the only thing that would have made 2024 perfect is the release of the Xbox version. Yokar goes on to state that the 10 gigs of shared memory that is used by the Xbox Series S made releasing the game on the system impossible without a few years of optimization experience. Yes, a few years. Which confirms what many have already believed, being that the Series S is once again causing major headaches for the developer. End quote. So, it does seem like the more and more that this generation goes on, you know, it's one of those things where ever since the beginning we've been hearing inklings of this, but man, especially within the last year or two, like, well, especially 2024, been hearing more and more about how that Series S is really becoming a problem for developers. And while the Series S on paper seems like a rather capable system, and it shouldn't be too hard to get games from the Series X to the Series S, the slight pare back on memory and just, you know, power in some spots, it's just enough to where if it's not on that same level as the other consoles in some way, form, or fashion, even if only slightly, it's still extra work compared to the mainline consoles, the Series X and the PS5, that the devs are going to have to put in. And in some cases, when games like Black Myth Wukong are made to fully utilize every bit of memory and power of something like the PS5, which the PS5 in itself, it doesn't necessarily struggle to run the game, but you can tell it's pushing it to its brink. Squeezing that onto the Series S, yes, it's possible. Will it be an ideal experience? I mean, again, when you buy a Series S, you're not expecting like 4K, 120 FPS on every game, but at the same time, you know, it's like, alright, what are we going to have to do to get this game on the system? And obviously, they haven't given up. They're still trying. It's just, again, it's that lack of power. Am I necessarily outright blaming the Series S or saying that it was a bad idea or a bad console or anything like that? No. But I do feel like the mandate to have day-and-date launches for the Series X and Series S may be a little, I don't know. I feel like it would have been better if they wouldn't have had that. Granted, as the generation went on, we probably would have seen more and more games that are like only Series X exclusive, which obviously would have sucked. But I feel like if they could at the very least have be some sort of system where like, okay, the game can come out on Series X, and as long as the devs like are actually working on a Series S version and can promise that it will be coming out at some point, then okay, maybe let it go out on the Series X first, just to award those players, on the other hand, you know, that spent the extra couple $100s in order to get the more expensive system, and then like a couple months or a year down the line, or however long it takes for them to fully optimize the game for Series S to make sure, you know, it just won't make everybody's Series S like explode trying to boot the game, then yeah, you know, maybe do it that way or just something along those lines. Again, I'm not necessarily blaming the Series S or anybody that plays on Series S. It's just unfortunate that such a steal in terms of price and such a consumer-friendly option is now becoming a bit of headache for developers, but again, it's one of those situations where you can't really win them all, you know what I mean? Next up, Rocksteady has faced more layoffs. This coming from Video Games Chronicle. Quote, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League developer Rocksteady Studios has reportedly been hit with fresh layoffs. There's half a dozen impacted employees, aka 6 employees. The cuts reportedly took place at the end of last year, impacting some programmers, artists, and more QA staff. It was reported that last September that numerous Rocksteady employees had been made redundant over the previous month, including its QA department being more than halved from 33 staff to 15, end quote. Meaning that with this recent wave of layoffs where more QA staff was laid off, it said that it impacted some programmers, artists, and QA staff. So even if it was only one QA staff member that was laid off, that means they literally only have 14 QA members for a AAA game studio. Yeah, that's not good. Again, I know in the grand scheme of things it may seem like, oh, but it's only 6 layoffs, right? It's only 6 people. Well, those are still 6 people that are potentially the breadwinners for their family, you know, whether they have kids, whether they don't have kids, whether they live alone, whether they don't, like, regardless, like, that is their livelihood. That's how they make their money. And now those are 6 people that are currently out of work, and, you know, even if they got their severance packages, I'm sure they're stressed beyond belief, especially in today's economy, just trying to get more work lined up so they can get working again as soon as possible. So, really, my heart and my prayers go out to these folks. Hopefully they can find work again soon, and it's just unfortunate, man. Here in 2025, just the layoffs just keep rolling, man. We've been talking about this stuff for years at this point, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. Granted, it hasn't seemed as bad in recent times, but still. I understand that layoffs will always be a thing, but at the rate that they happen in the video game industry, it's just, It's unlike any other industry, to be honest. And finally, Sony debuted some advanced immersive gaming technology, we'll call it, at their CES gaming press conference. So, this coming from IGN, quote, Sony has debuted conceptual technology at CES 2025 that would essentially allow gamers to enter the worlds of PlayStation games such as The Last of Us and see, shoot, and even smell the baddies. Footage of the future immersive. Entertainment concept was shared in the video below and shows a giant cube players enter similar to the multi-person virtual reality experiences currently available. This isn't VR, however, as the cube is instead made of incredibly HD screens that present the game world around the player. Looking to boost the immersion further, players are also delivered engaging audio and even scent and atmospherics with interactive PlayStation game content. The players in the video also had imitation weapons and would shoot at the screens as clickers appeared, presumably getting a whiff of rotten fungus and other offenses as they did so. The demo was made using gameplay pulled from The Last of Us, but obviously adapted to work for the future immersive entertainment concept, so unfortunately for fans is not a further look into the beloved world. Even if it was, of course, this tech is still years away and presumably incredibly expensive. So there's a myriad of limitations to actually getting it into the public's hands or getting the public into it in the first place. Sony may showcase it with other franchises in the future too, such as God of War, Horizon, and so on. End quote. So this really got me thinking, if they could expand this a little bit and say they do dabble with the God of War and Horizon, what if they could go a bit further? Gran Turismo, Killzone, Resistance. Could you imagine an experience like this, but with like Resistance, for example? If you've played that game, you know what I mean, like Resistance Fall of Man, if they let you play through that opening section, oh my gosh. I'm not a VR guy. I have nothing against VR. My stomach is just really weak and I can't play it for more than 30 seconds without wanting to, So, something like this, I feel like I'd probably do a bit better with, since there's not like a helmet strapped to my head, kind of just like obscuring my senses and making me feel all off, and you know, because basically what motion sickness is it's like your brain gets confused because it's sensing movement, even though you're not actually moving IRL, so it kind of just, you know, throws you off, makes you feel sick. That's how motion sickness works for those that don't know, but with this, obviously, it's a little bit different, so maybe I'd do better with it, and maybe some other folks would as well. So I think there's actually a good bit of potential with this technology. However, again, it would most definitely be very expensive, and when it comes to getting this set up in people's homes, I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but still, this seems pretty cool. And the whole, I don't know, though, like smelling clickers and stuff like that, I don't know about that one. I think I'm fine with that. But, you know, everything else about that sounds pretty cool. But the smelling them, maybe once as a curiosity test, but after that, I don't know if I want to be smelling clickers all day while playing my game, man. Still, though, this is really cool, so I just figured I'd highlight it, because these are the kinds of, like, innovations in modern gaming where it's like, alright, this is pretty rad. But anyway, that is all the stories that I have for you guys this week. We had a lot of new gaming handhelds to talk about, let me tell you, and there was probably even some that I missed out there, because you know, those things are getting announced like every other second at this point. But anyway, yeah, hope you guys enjoy the show. New episodes go live every single Friday at 9 AM Eastern. I'd love to have you here, but anyways, that's it for me, so it's time for me to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.